So the first kind of major prize category are leaderboards. Leaderboards are something that will be shown on the Georgia Gives website, most likely on the homepage. These will be counting in real time. So all donations from the start of early giving next Monday, all the way through the end of the day on November 30th, will count towards your leaderboard totals. So all early giving is a boost to your leaderboard totals. And then during the day on Giving Tuesday, you'll be able to track your progress and see where you are, where you stand in the totals. So new this year, there are two different categories of leaderboards available to all participating nonprofits. So the first is a leaderboard for that will award the top 3 organizations that raise the most dollars during the Giving Tuesday campaign. So again, this is open to all participating nonprofits that have registered for Giving Tuesday, Georgia Gives on Giving Tuesday. Top 3 organizations will win these prizes at the end of the 24 hours. And then similar to what's been available in the past, there's also a leaderboard celebrating the organizations that have the most unique donors. So the top 7 organizations that have the most unique donors give to their campaign will receive the prizes listed here. So the exciting news is that this means that this year there are 10 organizations that are likely to win a leaderboard prize, some based on those that have high dollar amounts raised, some that have the most unique individuals that give to their campaign. So sponsors are listed here. GCN is sponsoring the Dollars Raised leaderboard, and WestRock is sponsoring the Most Unique Donors leaderboard, along with a number of other prizes as well. So first prize category to be aware of is those leaderboards. Again, they'll be available so that you can check your rank, you can check your place on the leaderboard all throughout the 24 hours of Giving Tuesday. Beyond leaderboards, there are also power hours, and these again are open to all registered organizations for this year's Giving Tuesday event. So, sorry, just making sure everybody can still see my screen. Okay, great. So power hours are a really fun way that that the 24 hours, the marathon of giving, gets even more exciting. It's a long 24 hours, as we've talked about before. And so these power hours are a nice opportunity to add excitement to specific hours during the day. So I'm not going to call out every specific hour here, but I want to call out the key categories of power hours that are available. And I'm going to direct you all to go to the Georgia Gives website, look at the prizes tab, and understand the full schedule of prizes available so that, again, you can pick what hours are you going to choose. So Most Unique Donors Power Hour, $1,000 prize will be awarded between 7 and 7:59 a.m. to the organization that has the most unique donors that give to their organization during that window of time. It'll happen again from 10 to 11 a.m., again from 2 to 3 p.m., etc., and so on. So that's why I was talking about earlier, it's helpful to pick 1 or 2 perhaps hours that you're really going to focus on, and you pull all of your fundraising energy, your campaign communications to target that specific hour. So WestRock is sponsoring $1,000 power hours for these hours listed here. And then Aprio is also sponsoring $500 power hours for the hours listed there, 9 to 10, 1 to 2 p.m., 5 to 6 p.m., etc. And again, both of these are based on most unique donors. So I think I saw a question had come up in the chat. What is most unique donors? That means a unique donor is a unique individual. So if John Smith is a supporter of your organization, if he comes and makes a donation to your organization 3 times in the same hour or 3 times in the same day, he is only one unique donor. Now, what is unique, interesting, is these power hours, donors only have to be unique within that hour. So if somebody gives to you from the 7 to the 8 a.m. hour, that same individual comes back and gives again from the 10 to 11 a.m. hour. They are unique for that hour time range. So hopefully that's helpful in understanding, but the clearest way to think about it is one unique individual is a unique donor. So a husband and a wife can be both unique donors for your organization, depending on how they give. So we talked about the first two categories of power hours. There's one more category of power hours, again, open to all registered organizations. $500 power hours, still focusing on most unique donors, sponsored by Marshall Jones. So that's 8 to 9 a.m., 12 to 1 p.m., etc. Again, the organization that hour that has the most unique donors will win that $500 prize. New this year, there is an early giving challenge being added to the prize schedule. And this is to help encourage organizations to really kickstart their campaign, start fundraising even earlier than they may have in the past years. So again, open to all registered organizations. From the week of November 15th to November 21st, there will be 3 random donations drawn from all donations given in that week. And those 3 donations will have a $500 boost added to their gift. So all you have to do to be eligible for those prizes is receive at least 1 donation during that week. So there'll be 3 donations picked from the week of November 15th and 3 donations picked from the week of November 22nd. So those last 2 weeks before Giving Tuesday happens, 6 different organizations are going to get a random $500 boost. So everyone is eligible. Definitely make sure that you keep that in mind as you're planning your communications for early giving, and make sure that you have at least something going on in one of those 2 weeks to encourage some of your supporters to be giving early. So all of the prizes we've talked about so far have been open to every participating organization that registers for Georgia Gives on Giving Tuesday. The next couple of prizes that we're going to talk about here are specific prizes that are open to a subset of eligible participants based on the sponsor of that prize having very specific criteria of who their funds can support. So Primerica, these prizes here are going to be open to organizations that are pre-selected by Primerica specifically. And I do believe that the Georgia Gives team will be contacting organizations that are eligible so that you know if you are eligible for this or any of the other specific restricted prize categories. But for Primerica, there is going to be another extra leaderboard, again, awarding organizations with the most unique donors. So the top 5 organizations that are in this Primerica category will have the chance to win an additional leaderboard prize. And they also have $500 power hours happening throughout the day. Again, the main criteria, the theme that you're hearing through all of this is about unique donors. Almost all of these prizes are encouraging organizations to get the most unique individuals support them. And so what that means really is any donation amount counts. $5 is great. So while it's up to each organization to determine really what's important for their campaign, you may want to focus on some of your larger donors or getting some of your past donors to increase their amount this year. The prizes are really all geared towards participation and getting the most number of individuals to support your organization as possible. So that's the Primerica Community Heroes prizes. The Arby's Foundation is also sponsoring their own leaderboard ranked by unique donors, as well as their own set of power hours, again, $500 each. Arby's prizes are limited to organizations that are registered for Georgia Gives on Giving Tuesday and working to alleviate childhood hunger. So For those organizations that are eligible for this prize, it's just an additional set of opportunities during the day that you can walk away with more funds for your organization. Gas South, again, criteria here is organizations that are operating within the cause of human services for children or human rights for children. Again, only organizations that have completed that registration form. They will have 5 different power hours happening during the day, again, based on unique donors. But the prize is $1,000 here per hour. So really lots of opportunities happening throughout the day. As I mentioned, I didn't want to read through every single hour because it would be difficult to keep track of that. But if you go to GeorgiaGives.org, click on the prizes tab, you can access all of that information that we just talked through, see what hours there are prizes available, and then you can schedule your plan. So just a couple additional rules and guidelines before I take some questions. I know there are some questions that have popped up. First, Leaderboards will count all donations, as I mentioned, from early giving on November 1st through November 30th at midnight. So any donations that you receive during early giving count towards putting you ahead in the Leaderboards. Also for Leaderboards, online donations made through Georgia Gives, the platform, as well as offline donations that you post through your Georgia Gives page will be eligible for Leaderboard prizes. Organizations can only win 1 Leaderboard prize total. So I just mentioned at least 3 or 4 different leaderboards that are available. Organizations can only win 1, which means more organizations have the opportunity to win a Leaderboard prize. Just a note that all donations are subject to review post-event, and before any prizes are awarded, the Georgia Gives team does do a thorough review and verification of donations to make sure that all donations that were counted on the leaderboard are in fact eligible. So especially when it comes to offline donations that you may be posting, it's important to have the backup available in case the Georgia Gives team contacts you to ask for more verification on those offline gifts. And as well, check the eligibility criteria for each leaderboard. The first 2 I mentioned were open to all registered organizations, and then there were some others that are very specific criteria. So make sure you check the eligibility criteria for the specific one that you might be thinking your organization is eligible for. When it comes to power hours, a couple key differences here. For power hours, only online donations made through the platform count for power hours. So offline donations are not eligible for power hour prizes. They do count on those leaderboards, as I was just mentioning, but they are not relevant when it comes to power hour prizes. So make sure that you are aware of that. That's online donations only made through the Georgia Gives website. So if you get a donation through Facebook, for example, you get a donation through your website, your PayPal button, whatever it might be, those will not count for power hour prizes. Only gifts processed through GeorgiaGives.org. Organizations are only eligible for 1 power hour prize per partner. So for example, the Gas South power hours, the eligible organizations can only win 1 of those total. Again, spreading the love between hopefully as many organizations as possible. And organizations can only win 2 total. So if you win 1 Gas South power hour and 1 APRIO power hour, you cannot win any more. So again, the goal here is to make sure as many organizations as possible have the chance to walk away with prizes at the end of the day. Just like before, donations will be reviewed post-event, and it's important to check the eligibility criteria for each different power hour because there are specific ones that have special eligibility requirements. And so with that, we have about 10 minutes left. I know we've got a handful of questions that have come in, so I will work through getting through as many of those questions as I can. For any that we don't get through by 3 p.m., we will follow up after the call with more answers. So let's see. Okay, first question, this is a good question, specific to us and one organization, but we know others have this as well. Our organization attempted to register, but it would not let us because our legal address is in South Carolina. This is the case for certain organizations. There is criteria that to participate in Georgia Gives Day, your organization has to have a legal address in the state of Georgia, but we know there are many organizations that might technically have an address elsewhere, but the work that you do is in Georgia. In that case, you do have to contact the Mighty Cause support team so that we can create a page for you that has that Georgia address. And once we create a page with that Georgia address, that's how you'll be able to register. So I know we get a couple people with that question. We have added that question to the FAQs on the website as well. Hopefully that answers your question. Next question, is there an employer matching option? So I'm assuming you mean, will donors see that option on the checkout form to add information about, whether they have an employer that wants to match their gift? There isn't an option across the platform. If you know that you have specific organizations that have employers that will match their gifts, you could choose to add a question to the checkout form on your own organization's page, where you ask donors, to enter the name of their employer so that you can follow up post-event to see if they have the ability to get that employer to provide a match. Next question, do donors have to use the GAgives website to make donations? So yes and no, depending on what your question is really about. To count for prizes, power hours, a donation has to be made through GeorgiaGives.org. If you want to count it for leaderboards, if you want to just count for the total that you display on your page, there is the ability to post offline donations. So if somebody makes a gift through another source, Facebook, your website, gives you cash, etc., you can still post those offline donations to count in your totals. Next question, where is the toolkit? If you go to GeorgiaGives.org, and there are a number of items in the menu bar. One of those items is going to be labeled nonprofits. If you click on the label that says nonprofits, there will be a drop-down menu with a handful of items. One of those is going to be the toolkit, one of those is going to be the graphics, one is the webinars, etc. One more question, who owns the donor data? Can we export it for use in our own CRM software? Yes, any donor that makes a donation to your organization is a donor that you can consider for your organization. So we definitely encourage you to export your donor data from the platform and integrate it into whatever CRM system you are using. If you do happen to use Salesforce as a CRM that you're using externally, you may want to consider upgrading to the Mighty Cause Advanced package, which has a direct integration with Salesforce. It's an optional thing you can choose to do monthly or annually. But if you use Salesforce as your external CRM, that might help streamline the process for you so that it's an automatic integration and not something you have to do post-event. Follow-up question on unique donors. To be clear, unique donors includes anyone who donates as one entity. Yes, a unique donor is a unique individual. I think we have a couple more questions that have come in through the chat. So I'm just going to double check to see if we have any there. Okay. All right. Here's a question. How do you suggest handling the holiday weekend leading up to GivingTuesday when the office is closed? So I guess it depends what specifically you mean by handling that holiday weekend. But I think that it's best to plan and hopefully schedule some communications to happen while your office is closed. We always encourage organizations to send an email perhaps the Monday or Tuesday before Thanksgiving And the message can be something like, before you head out on Thanksgiving, or before you head out for the holidays this week, take time to make your early gift for Georgia Gives. That way you're kind of encouraging their giving earlier in the week. You may want to schedule another email to happen sometime between Friday and Sunday. You may want to schedule some social posts, but of course, this is going to be a very busy time for donors and consumers, where they're getting bombarded with lots of information. So you may choose that you don't want to compete with a Black Friday email, for example, and you want to instead focus on the Monday when you're back in the office. Again, it will be busy with emails because of Cyber Monday, but at least your team will be on staff to perhaps answer any questions. So I'm not 100% sure if that answers the specific question you had in mind, but it is important to think about what, what's helpful there. And I see a specific question about somebody's logo. I'll have our support team follow up with you directly because I think that is looks like an issue that you're having with your own logo. So we'll have people reach out to you as well. And then there's one other question. If we are signed up for Georgia Gives, are we also signed up for National Giving Tuesday? Not necessarily. So Georgia Gives is a partner with the National Giving Tuesday movement. And so after the event is over, there's lots of reporting back to the overall Giving Tuesday movement so that GivingTuesday.org is aware of where giving was happening across the country, across the world. So Georgia is a direct partner in that, and there is high-level information sharing so that Georgia Gives is aware of donations that have been reported back to GivingTuesday.org and vice versa. So I don't exactly know what the question is in particular, but it doesn't technically sign you up for the National Giving Tuesday event. You can always go to GivingTuesday.org and make sure that you are specifically registered and a part of their email list if you'd like to be getting content and information directly from GivingTuesday.org. But Georgia Gives, again, is a partner in that global movement. So with that, we are just at 3 o'clock right now. Thanks everybody for your time. Again, this recording will be available on the Nonprofit Toolkit after today's session. And good luck with your Georgia Gives campaign. Thanks, everyone.